Well, boys, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. I'm making my comeback to YouTube. And we're long overdue for an upload out here. And it's not because I didn't want to make content. It's just I haven't. So either way, it's wintertime. It's build season here in Pennsylvania. It's 2024. Happy New Year. But it's time to make a little bit of makeover or progress here on the Jeep. We're going to start trying to get this thing looking good for 2024 wheeling season. Couple of videos from now, I'm sure we'll be doing some revisions or, upgrades to the Jeep to make it wheel better, but that is not what today's about. Today is solely making this Jeep look a little bit better. So if you look at the Jeep, truthfully, looks pretty good. We have it here in winter maintenance mode. I've been busy with the old rattle can, kind of touching everything up underneath, and the Jeep looks great on this side. So the other side, not so much. I'm gonna go ahead and insert a clip here from Trail Hero right now. Doing some sick rock crawling and had my driver tire up really high till it wasn't. Kind of smashed my cowl in on my Jeep. Now I know what you're thinking. Sam, it's a rock crawler, it's gonna happen. That is just adding beauty. I completely agree. And truthfully, my wife thinks it looks kind of cute with the big old dent there. The downside is, well, my windshield really doesn't fit on anymore. As you can tell, it's pretty bent. Everything's cracked in here or wadded up. And the door really doesn't close anymore either. So, plan for today's upload is I'm going to start tearing all this apart. We're gonna cut that panel out. And oddly enough, the guy that was spotting me on that line, my buddy Parker, had a scrap TJ that he plasma cut that panel out of. And we're gonna go ahead and try to prep that, get it installed on my Jeep, get this thing looking a little bit better for 2024 wheeling season. And I think maybe, depends how this goes, kind of want to repaint my Jeep this winter. I'm not saying I'm going to, I'm saying I want to. So first things first, let's work on getting this torn apart, getting that new panel put on the Jeep. Fenders off over here on the driver's side, we get a better look at the damage that occurred when you boys slapped it against a rock. So unfortunately, there's two big fat creases here. I think if those didn't happen, I would have tried putting a stud gun on it and pulling the dents out that way. Sure, it could still be done, but I don't have body hammers or dollies to try to work it. But I do got a welder and a plasma cutter and a bunch of cutoff wheels. So plan still is to cut that piece out and re-weld it back in. Another thing I did notice, the body split down here. So more than likely, just gonna weld that shut, body work it, and we'll just hope that doesn't happen again. I lucked out here. The hood did not get damaged, just knocked the paint off it. So to keep moving along on this project, we need to get this cowl off here, which just looks like a bunch of Phillips head screws along top and bottom. Pop that off. Then we get to fight these dreaded Torx head screws for the windshield hinge. They've never been off. So yeah, they'll just come right out, I'm sure. Let's see. There's a bolt in the center. Don't forget that. Now, before I jump into this is not a how-to. This is just how I am going to fix it, and there's reasons behind it. Normally, you'd come in here, drill out all these spot welds, pop this outer skin off, spot weld it all back in. Although I love Parker, I love his Jeep, and it's very nice that he gave me this panel to use. He even autographed it from him and his Jeep. He used the plasma to cut it out. So unfortunately, I don't have a place to just spot weld this back in, which means I'm gonna have to do a little bit more body work than anticipated, but I'm okay with it. It's gonna be a fun little project here. So the goal here is still to pop this outer skin off. We'll have to be mindful of these nut plates in here that they don't drop and fall out. We'll try to bend this structure back up, but we are gonna have to cut this almost right along this seam because I don't have much of the factory metal coming down here. Probably have to straighten it here, but I think we still can use the spot welds on the bottom. So it's gonna be a little bit of a learning experience for me. Hopefully you guys get a little bit of something out of this, but what I'm saying is don't be afraid to cut up your Jeep. Always weld it back together. It's just a rock crawler at the end of the day. We're not going for perfection. We're just trying to make it look a little bit, just a little bit better. So let's break out the cutoff wheel, get to cutting, and see if we can't make this look better. Straight as an arrow. Now we're getting serious. With this skin off, we really get an idea of how everything came together from factory in here. We knew there were spot welds all along here. Here is gonna be these hidden spot welds down underneath this panel. Without a spot weld tool, I don't know how you'd come back in here and re-spot weld this once the panel's on. So I'm gonna be using a panel bond seam sealer through here to attach it. Still need to go ahead and drill out all of these spot welds on the outer skin. And then I think I'm just trimming right along this edge, replacing this section, and then hopefully weld everything back in nice and pretty. So got a little bit more cutting to do, and then we can start fitting that other panel to my cow. So let's get to cutting, and I'll give you an update once everything is, roughed in. So see you in a second. All right, quick little sody break and big update time. I have the panel all nice and fitted on the Jeep. I was actually able to save this piece of metal that was kinked. I cut a bunch out and just started wailing on it with a hammer and straightened out good enough for me. So overall, not too bad. We did run into an issue up here. The inner structure of the A-pillar is actually pretty bent. It's unfortunate it happened right in this area. Sure, it's not gonna be super easy to make this look good, at least for me, but the hinge will cover the majority of any body work that happens in there. But we have a decent gap the whole way around that we can just go ahead and tack and tap on it with a hammer, smooth everything out. So I think this is gonna work out good. Just gotta pop it back off, throw some seam sealer panel bond down in that lower area that I can't get to. Start tacking away. It's getting late, so don't know how far I'm gonna get tonight. I'm gonna go ahead and at least get the panel bond on and a couple tacks on the Jeep. So let's do that. Well, I don't know if you guys can tell, but the garage is full of smoke because I've been doing a bunch of welding. Went ahead and got this plate all welded on the front and the panel bond set for this lower section. All we did here is a bunch of tacks. We stacked them, flapped them over, and it's actually pretty presentable. I'm not a body guy, but I'm gonna get a different sander to get rid of him. And I'm really regretting not cutting out this super wrinkled section because that doesn't look the best. I don't claim to be a body guy, but I'd like to do the best work I can each time. So who knows, might cut it out, might fix it, might just run it, because at the end of the day, it's just a rock crawler. Since it is pretty much the end of the night, I'm actually gonna put the camera down, throw some music on, finish welding out this top section and getting it cleaned up. We'll pick back up tomorrow and finish this project out. So see you guys in 1 second. Okay, so my bodywork marathon is officially over. Told myself when I came out here today, I was just gonna set the camera up and start banging out this work so I could wrap this video up today. The reason being, it's gonna be freezing tonight. It's gonna be like 17 degrees and we have a snowstorm on the way. And if there's any chance at all to get paint to stick to this Jeep, I gotta paint it sooner than later. So all the bodywork, I went ahead and knocked out on it. We have everything ground down, smoothed, filler primer, and it's pretty much ready for paint. Got everything taped off, acetone wiped down. Initially, I wasn't going to prep this area, but as you can tell by my hand, the filler primer nozzle stuck and pretty much got all over the side of the Jeep. So that's all sanded and we're gonna try to blend it all back in. Bodywork turned out all right. Kind of pressed for time with this cold weather coming. So nothing to it but to do it. Let's make this Jeep nice and green again. Let's go. Coat one. boys, the Jeep is officially back together, has one less dent, and it's back to being green. Now, when we started off this video, we kind of came out here with a mission, and that was to make the Jeep look just a little bit better. So the dent was obviously ugly. The Jeep truthfully still has other scratches and dents in it, but this was our mission, and I think we succeeded. I needed to be able to get this door to close again, and it does, and I needed a way to get my windshield back on the Jeep because this was crunched in so much. Now, I'm not a body guy, so this is not a perfect repair. It's kind of a quick and dirty job. This cowl is still bent, but overall, not worried about it. Jeep looks pretty good. Need to spend a little time here fixing this hood gap, and need to get a sticker for the Jeep emblem down below. But overall, I'm calling this a big success. If I want to paint the Jeep in the future, now I don't have to worry about a big dent inside my Jeep anymore. So go ahead, drop a comment down below if you want me to repaint this thing this year. Also, for you bodywork guys or people who have a little more experience than me at least, leave some comments down below of techniques or things I may have skipped while doing this. It's a rock color. I really don't want to put any Bondo or filler in it to make it look super nice, but for a flap wheel, welder, and spray paint, I can't complain about this repair. So, all of that being said, this video is officially over. I'm gonna go ahead and start planning out my next video for you guys. So, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and click that button. Thanks for the view. We'll catch you guys on the next upload. Later.